try to do this, and let's move that. And there I am, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Gridiron. It's the greatest fictitious college football show in the world, baby. In the world. I am your host, like I said, the Midnight Rider. We're gonna jump right into this because I'm running late, so I'm trying to pick up some time so I can get you out and ready for the games this evening. First up, we're gonna go to, let's see what week this is. We're on week. Sorry for the silence. There we go. There are the pictures. All right, so we're on week 11, folks. So let's start off week 11 with game one from week 11, which should be the Ohio State Buckeyes against the Purdue Boilermakers. And everything's going crazy right now, so let's have fun. Boom. Game one. In this ball game, Ohio State wins 31-10. Purdue struggles early. 80 yards on the ground for Purdue, 124 passing on the Ohio State side. Ohio State gets 64 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 162 yards through the air. Looked like they were 2 for 6 on third down, and they made Purdue 0 for 6 on third down. That shows us the 31-10 nature of this ball game. Up next, we have Oregon versus Iowa. In this ball game, Iowa sprints out to an early lead, 28-0 at halftime. Dominates the ball game, gives up 10 points late. I don't know what Vegas had the line as, but if Vegas had the line at 39.5, somebody lost money there because of backdoor cover. But without Vegas involved, let's look at the numbers here. Third down, Iowa, 1 for 8 on third down, which is crazy. That's not going to move the football. That explains the 10 points. Passing yards is 102, and they only have 58 yards on the ground. So it was a struggle for them. Looks like Oregon does Oregon things. 83 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. Looks like they put up 381 yards of offense. 298 of that came through the air. 3 passing touchdowns. I mean, what more can we say? Oregon's one of the most consistent programs in the video game. They just make things happen. Up next, Florida State versus Clemson. This is Coach Jackson's team. Coach Jackson has Clemson hitting on all gears right now, 41-7. They get out early also, 21-0. Take it up to 28-0. Finish 41-7. On the Florida State side, offensively, they were held to 26 plays, 2 rushing yards, and 80 yards passing. That's crazy. On offense for Clemson, hey, Coach Mark asked Coach Powell to call plays. He put up 403 yards of offense, 99 on the ground with 2 touchdowns, 304 through the air with 4 touchdowns there. Looks like this man can call some offense, man. I don't know, Coach. I don't know. Next up is Indiana and Penn State. Penn State 33, Indiana 14. Looks like this was 17-7 at the half. Penn State just probably dominated on run. Let's see what we got here. Yep, 200 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns, 158 through the air, 1 TD for them. On the other side of the ledger, Indiana. Total plays were 28, 24 yards rushing, 257 through the air. Those sound like empty calories to me, man. So that's week 11 for you guys, and that's in the books. Let's go ahead and hop right into the hot action that is week 12. Week 12 features Coach Day going to UCLA, or playing at home against UCLA, I should say. 31-6. He gets out early, 17-3. He dominates, man. Ohio State has shown a suffocating defense all year, and they suffocated here too. 62 yards on the ground, giving up 196 through the air. They put up 281 themselves, 245 through the air, 36 on the ground, rushing and a passing TD. So I'm guessing there may be a fumble or interception return in that to get us to the number 31. After that ball game, we go over to the guy from Michigan, the Michigan man. Michigan goes into Northwestern, wins 30-3. This game wasn't interesting at all. I mean, looks like he got out 14-0 and just dominated the rest and cruised home with a victory. Looks like Indiana only had 31 rushing yards and 97 passing yards. That's not going to get it done, folks. That can't get it done. On the side for Michigan, 126 on the ground with 3 touchdowns, one passing TD for 169 yards. There's nothing else to say. I mean, with Michigan, Penn State, I keep telling people it's all about the offense. And from what I've seen so far, when it comes to Ohio State, defense wins ball games for them. And they're a big defensive team. Up next on the slate is the South Carolina Gamecocks, coached by Coach Powell, against Texas A&M. South Carolina, always balanced. Let's see if they hold up to that storyline. 120 through the air, 151 on the ground, 2 touchdowns in the rushing. Looks like Coach sneaks out a victory. Coach has been on the road lately. I think he's like 4-1 in his last 5 ball games. Anybody want to, they can fact check me on that, but I think it's 4-1 right now. On the other side of the ledger, you got Texas A&M, 12 yards rushing. Jeez. 170 through the air. So it looked like the Gamecocks defense came to play yesterday. And then the next game should be, let's see. Yes, it is. It's Penn State, Michigan State. Low scoring ball game. But if I know Penn State, we ran the ball. And they ran the ball. 126 on the ground, 1 touchdown. Passing yards is 207. On the other side of the ledger, they only gave up 13 yards rushing, 138 through the air. So Penn State out there doing their thing, man. Next ball game coming up. Oh, man, that was good. Next ball game on the ledger, Texas versus Georgia. If memory serves me correctly, Texas is the user team in this one. Let's see, Texas loses 20-17 to Georgia. 199 through the air for Texas, 38 on the ground, 2 touchdowns. On the other side, the ledger, they only gave up 3 yards on the ground, 187 through the air. So it must have been a turnover or something in here that cost them this ball game. Because that's not normal for a score for this thing in this league. Next up on that week is Minnesota and Oregon. Oregon just flashes its dominance. Oregon, 59 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown, 5 passing touchdowns, 314 yards through the air. 66 passing yards from Minnesota, and 30, nope, that's total plays, 11 yards rushing. Wow. 77 total yards of offense. That's terrible. That's terrible. The score shows they suffocated Minnesota, taking away their options. Next up on our ledger for week 12 should be Clemson and Louisville. This game, I heard the coaches in the comments talking about this ball game. 6-3. I think there was a late interception for Coach Mark that really changed the tide of the ball game. Let's see what we got here in the comment section. Here we go. Coach Mark, he must have been talking about when I was talking about him calling plays. See, that's what I'm talking about. Coach Powell, hell no. Coach Powell, hell no. And then I think he's talking about his South Carolina team here. He's on a roll. Let's see. And here we go. We don't need to talk about my game. We can leave that one off. Sorry, man. I just go through the list, man. You know how it is. You guys play them. I try to bring light to them. Let people see what y'all doing on this video game, man. Let them see what y'all got going on, man. So yeah. Last you did say something about this game having you having a bunch of turnovers in this ball game. So and the late interception kind of told you that the ball game was over. That's crazy, man. The CPU kind of showed out this week or in the next couple of weeks. This is week 13. Now, I may not have all of this week up. The producer in the studio was having some problems getting week 13 loaded. So let's go off of what I have picked up first, and then I'll come back to anything that we missed in the pictures. So this game is South Carolina versus Coastal Carolina. South Carolina again rolling 41-3. Looks like they had 369 yards of offense, 204 on the ground, 3 rushing touchdowns, 165 through the air. They only gave up 160 yards. Looks like we got 10 yards rushing for Coastal Carolina and 150 through the air. And why won't this comment go away? Let's see. Nope, wrong folder. All right, we're gonna leave that alone. Coach, your comment won't just stay on the screen, baby. Let's see. Next up, we got Arkansas versus Texas. Texas is the user here. Let's see what the stats say. Looks like Arkansas got out early with 24-14. They actually win the ball game 37-21. Like I said, the CPU has been on a roll here lately. See, 201 total yards of offense for Arkansas, 34 on the ground, 167 through the air. Looks like Texas put up 238 yards in the air, 3 touchdowns through the air, only 52 yards rushing. Man, that's a tough ball game to lose, man, in that spot. Let's see if we can get this going. There we go. Oh, wow. Coach, I wouldn't have admitted this one, but you threw 3 interceptions. Okay. So that explains the low scoring nature of the ball game. And it's kind of explain why you lost, Coach. You hurt me here, man. We had momentum going to get you some play calling. Now we're gonna get both of us gonna get fired probably sometime today because we're talking about this on the show. You know how Coach Powell is. He fires everybody. Let's see what else we got here. Let's get back to the games real quick. All right, looks like we have Michigan and Maryland. Michigan beats Maryland 30-15. Michigan's starting to get on the road themselves. Number 1 team in the country. Looks like they got 192 on the ground, 1 touchdown, 185 through the air. They struggled on 3rd down, but they still managed to move the football enough to get points. And then the last game I should have on this, let's see. That's the Heisman Trophy race. Here we go. Clemson versus FCS Southeast. Clemson wins 47-7. Dominant performance by Clemson. Looks like, let's see if we can get the stats going here. Stats-wise, 371 yards passing. 94 on the ground. 5 passing TDs. Way to recover from them that 3 interception week. 1 touchdown on the ground. Looks like they didn't put any stats in for FCS Southeast. So we'll just go by the numbers that we got for that ball game. And it looks like we didn't load up, but I'll give you this score before we start talking about the Heisman. The last game of that week was Nebraska and Penn State. Penn State wins 23-17. They get out 21-14. It's 21-17 in the 3rd quarter. Looks like at the end of the ball game, Penn State gets another field goal to give themselves some cushion. Let's look at the stats. Let's look at the numbers real quick before we talk about this Heisman Trophy race. The stats are 263 on the ground, 1 touchdown, 173 through the air, and 1 passing touchdown. Looks like they gave up 309 through the air and 14 on the ground. So Nebraska was moving the football, but they just couldn't get in the end zone or get into the scoring zone. With that said, that last thing brings us to where we stand in the Heisman race as of right now, folks. Looks like Michigan is trying to run away with the award, literally. Michigan has Justice Haynes at 1. Georgia has Zachariah Branch in the 2 spot. He's a wide receiver. Tailback Damian Taylor out of Ole Miss is the 3rd person on here. The 4th is Austin Simmons out of Ole Miss. And then the 5th is Barian Brown from LSU. So it looks like his last game, Justice Haynes had 128 yards rushing and 3 rushing touchdowns plus 12 yards receiving. So that's where we sit at right now. In this point in the league, we're getting close to the playoff picture. I didn't upload the playoffs because I didn't have the newest one. But I'll kind of talk you through the one we have on file right now. Let's see where we at on that. All right, so looks like we have Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State. There are 3 user teams that have the buys right now. Oregon, I think Oregon's the only other user team right now in the playoffs. If somebody can get me an updated version for the next show, that'd be perfect. Let's see what we got here in the comments section before we get out of here. Coach said battle to 300. That's right. That's all right. I'm gonna beat South Carolina. That's right. That's gonna be a good game. We got to make sure that goes in prime time. When we get Clemson versus South Carolina, that's normally the last week of the season. That is their revenge game. That's gonna be beautiful. And the 300 boys are playing today. I forgot who they have. Coach, you want to throw that in the comments for me? I'll give that some love today. I know it's 2:00. I think they're playing at Bladensburg. Bladensburg is a team that we didn't expect to be in the mix right now because basically we didn't know if they would have enough kids. So, yep, it's Bladensburg. Thanks, Coach. I appreciate that. So we got the boys from 300 going out to Bladensburg. The Carolinas have their homecoming today as well. So if you need some high school football, Bladensburg and Carroll are 2 places you can go looking. I know Jack's going to kill me because I didn't mention I got guys up in Arundel County. So I apologize to y'all up front. So that's all we have for you guys today in terms of the gridiron. What we're going to do is we're going to do something different. I'm going to give you a preview. I'm not going to give you a preview. I'm just going to tell you that what comes up next on the station. Next up on the station is our next show will be the WrestleManiacs tonight at 9 p.m. You'll get them and their shenanigans. Tomorrow morning, you get the Sunday Rise at 11 a.m. I don't know who our guest picker is, but we do have a guest picker. From last week, I know I owe Jeff Ricker a cheesesteak. So we got to take care of that bet sometime soon as well. After that, Monday, we got a jam-packed Monday. Monday is going to be off the hook. Monday, 5 p.m., you got drive time. Monday at 7 p.m., you got Coach Powell, Pretenders Contenders. At 8 p.m. on Monday, you have the Sideline Junkies NBA preview show. I know one of our guests, he's not a guest, he's part of the crew, is Perry Jones. I'm not sure who else we have jumping in with us for the NBA show. It's normally KG, myself, Gentleman Jack, and Perry, but we may have a 5th. So we'll have 5 heads talking to you about the upcoming NBA season, telling you who we think the champions are, who the division winners are, and probably the teams 1 through 8 and how they're going to finish in the league. After the jam-packed Monday, we come at the Tuesday night flight. I think that's 7:45. Wednesday in the passenger seat, we have Edwin Garrett. He's got a tremendous story. I don't know how much of his story we're going to get into, but he's got a great story that I know we can share with you guys. Thursday, we got the Thursday night throwdown, and then we come back here to reset you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, this is called The Gridiron. I am the Midnight Rider. I want to thank you for enjoying just watching the show. If you commented, I appreciated the comments. But we're doing the short show because we want to get out so you guys can get to the college games, or if you're trying to get to a high school game, you can get to your high school game. And with that being said, if you are a person looking to join the league, come on over. If you want the smoke, like I say, if you want the smoke, we got the lighter and the cigar. So let's make it happen. You can reach out to any one of the guys in the Sideline Junkies, and we can direct you to how to become part of the greatest fictitious college football league in the world, baby, in the world, Craig. With that being said, I am the Midnight Rider. This is the Gridiron, and thank you for joining us. And we'll catch you next week at 11:30, same time. Be there, all right?